What is up, everybody? I have a fire video for you today. Today, I am going over how you can apply Alex Hormozi's book, $100 Million Offers, to insurance. So some of you may have seen Alex Hormozi on social media. Maybe you've seen him on a Instagram reel. Maybe you've seen him on a TikTok. Maybe you've seen one of his YouTube videos or his YouTube shorts. He has been blowing up over the last year. And I've known about Alex for the last 4 years. Being in the digital marketing world, I have been watching him. He has been coming up through the fitness and gym industry from his company, Gym Launch Secrets. And it has been amazing to watch him and really kind of study his business. And then now over the last year, really get to see the ins and outs of his business because he's been sharing what has worked for him and what has not worked for him, and just really been sharing kind of the secrets. And then he put a lot of that into his first book. He's got 5 books that he's writing, but this is the first of 5. And I have been through this book numerous times because it is very valuable. But what I have really seen is that anybody that's not in the digital marketing space, the running a marketing agency or selling some sort of, consulting program, they have a tough time of taking what's in here and applying it to them. They see some of his social media and they love the videos, but then there's really a lot of, difficulty actually applying it to your industry. Those of you that don't know, my name's Justin Thomas. This is my channel. Along with my business partner, Josh Lustig, we own a company called Insurance Advertising Masters, IAM, where we consult insurance agents on how to really turn what feels like a job into a real business by showing them and helping them level up their skills, starting with appointment generation, sales, follow-up, and systems. Then once they have those things taken care of, we're showing them how to use business structure and bring on employees in order to turn this into a business that makes money while you sleep, go on vacation, go to a conference. We're really just focused on scaling the business. And, we had a lot of passion about doing that. And there's so much value in this book that I wanted to share. And so there's really 2 main frameworks that I wanted to kind of express on how we have been able to translate this in helping our insurance clients that we help. And I wanted to make this video so that you guys could really start to think about some of the things that are not being done in the insurance industry whatsoever. The insurance industry and financial advising industry tends to be 5 years behind with anything that comes to marketing, advertising, sales, tech, all of that stuff. Sales may be a little bit more relevant and newer than 5 years, but everything else is typically 5 to 10 years behind. And so I just wanted to take this time today in this video to walk you through how I would apply the teachings of this book or 2 particular parts of this book to you as an insurance agent, insurance agency, insurance business owner. So the very first thing is going to be choosing a market. This is something I'm extremely passionate about. It's one of the things that I really go and deep dive into with all of my clients is actually choosing a market. Because what I tend to see with 99% of agents is that they fall into these very set out for them buckets and niches that are available because that's what's available for leads to buy. You're seeing people, for the vast majority, on the life side falling either into final expense or mortgage protection. That's because it's very easy for lead vendors to create those types of leads. And then you're seeing people on the Medicare side really just kind of fall into T65 or focusing on Medicare Supplement or Medicare Advantage. And I spend a ton of time with my clients really focusing on, hey, let's just not fall into the red shark-infested oceans that every other insurance agent is already in. Instead, let's take some time to think about, 1, who do we want to work with? Who are we passionate about working with? Who actually needs our help? And who do we feel like we can help the most? Because you truly do, as an insurance agent, have the ability to choose who you're working with and choose who your market is. And one of the great frameworks from this book is choosing a market. When choosing a market, first of all, you need to understand that as an insurance agent, you actually get to choose who you work with. And if you position everything you say from, word of mouth when you're walking around talking to people, to posting on social media, to actually turning it into ads. If you position everything you say in a specific way that you are the expert at helping those people, and then you also are able to back it up and demonstrate it by educating and teaching about how those people can be helped and really what their biggest problems are. Because one of the things from this book that said so eloquently that I've understood for a while, but he said it perfectly, is that the definition of persuasion is having your customer feel that they are understood. And the best way to have your customer feel that they are understood is for you to be able to paint a picture of the problems that they're currently going through on a daily basis. And if you can do that, rapport is built immediately, and they're going to trust you to be able to solve their problem as well too. So it starts with understanding their problem, being able to articulate it to them so well that they trust that you fully understand what their problem is. With that being said, when it comes to choosing a market, again, the very first thing is realizing that you actually get to choose who you work with. Then from there, once you understand you get to choose who you work with and you can attract those people, well, let's choose wisely in order to make sure that, it's a great business decision who we're choosing to work with and who specifically we're choosing to attract. So Alex talks about choosing a market, and there are 4 things that he talks about when choosing a market. The very first thing is pain. Do they have an undeniable need for what I have to offer? Not do they just have a want for it, but do they have an undeniable need? Do they have pain? Do they have something that's actually going to get them to move that is related to what I have to offer? So the types of insurance that I can help them with. So the very first thing is the market that you want to choose needs to actually have a pain around insurance or planning for retirement that insurance can solve, whether that be life insurance. Do they have a need for life insurance? Do they have a need for health insurance? Do they have a need for Medicare? Regardless of what it is, you need to figure out, do they have a need? And they do need to have it. That needs to be the very first thing when choosing your market. The second thing is it a growing or shrinking market? And the example that he gives is the newspaper business. So he had a buddy that created a company where it would take newspaper websites and he would help turn those into websites that would allow people to place ads on it very easily, creating another revenue source for the newspaper. But the problem is that the newspaper industry is shrinking by like 20-30% every single year. So ultimately, no matter how much he tried, he still wasn't getting the success that he knew he could be getting. And then he pivoted to a different industry and immediately took off. So the next thing you need to consider with choosing a market is it growing or is it shrinking? And we always want to choose a market that is currently growing. And that's changing in this day and age, right? There's so many people that think about traditional markets, like what insurance agents had maybe focused on 20 years ago, 30 years ago. But the thing is, there are so many new industries, so many new people to focus on that are actually growing that didn't even exist 20, 30 years ago. Typical things that people would think to go after are like doctors, dentists, stuff like that, which those are still great markets. But what they typically forget are, okay, there are Amazon sellers that are making crazy amounts of money and have they're entrepreneurs, so they have no life insurance. They have nothing provided through an employer. They have no idea what to do with the money that they're making. Along with just Amazon sellers, there's full e-commerce shop owners that are using Shopify and other platforms like that, making great money. There are social media managers that are out there running Facebook ads and YouTube ads for companies. These are all different types of entrepreneurs. And the problem is that insurance agents think it's good enough to just say, I'm going to help business owners. But there's so many different problems that occur depending on what your business is. And it goes back to the persuasion thing. If you just say you help business owners and you talk generally about business owners, somebody that's an Amazon seller or a digital entrepreneur is not going to resonate with those problems, and they're not going to feel like you truly understand them. Other examples are like people that have made money on crypto, people that are investing in companies with the metaverse. There's so many different things in today's day and age. People that are doing Uber, people that are doing other weird things like OnlyFans. Like there are a ton of new ways to make money, people that are influencers that didn't exist 10 years ago, didn't exist 20 years ago. So start expanding and thinking about what are growing markets, what are new markets, but what are growing, and stop focusing on shrinking markets. That's the second thing, is make sure you're picking a growing market. The third thing that you need to make sure for this market you're choosing is that they're easy to target. So do they have associations that they belong to? Are there mailing lists that they are already on? Are they already in Facebook groups online? Is there somewhere that they are already hanging out? If they're very, very hard to target, then it's going to make your job of expressing your message of being able to help them so much harder. So we want to figure out people that are some way easily clumped together and relatively easy to target on the platforms, whether that be Facebook or YouTube, some sort of way. And those, they have very robust targeting systems between these things. So this isn't a hard thing, but just really think about those things that I just mentioned. Do they have associations? Do they have, a TV channel or a specific celebrity that they all watch, or a specific author that they all read, or a specific influencer in some way? Are they on a mailing list? Any of those things, we really need to think about, are they easy to target? And then the fourth thing is purchasing power. I unfortunately see a lot of insurance agents, once they get past the point where they realize that they can actually choose who they work with, they go through all these other steps, and then they end up choosing people that don't have money and are broke. And depending on if the pain is big enough, that can be okay, right? A lot of people make a lot of good money in final expense. A lot of people make a lot of good money by selling volume, but you're able to make so much more, and it's so much more scalable if you can choose people that have purchasing power. And the thing is, I think a lot of agents choose to find people that are broke or don't have money because they feel that the sales process, the actual sale, is going to be easier. And the fact is that's not necessarily true. If you're truly putting in the effort and time it takes to understand your customer, understand all of their problems, and really have a solution that is going to help them, the people that are more sophisticated are actually going to be easier sales than the people that are not in that market. So those are the four things when it comes to choosing a market. So I really hope that that starts to get your gears going and thinking about, one, I can actually choose who I want to be working with, and two, these are the four things I need to be thinking of when choosing who to actually work with. Now, the second really main thing about this book is putting together an offer. And so many insurance agents have no idea what an offer is. They think that they can only sell their product. And, for the most part, that is true. There's not really any wiggle room when it comes to the actual product. But where we can create offers as insurance agents, financial advisors, anything having to do with those two verticals, where we can create the offer is not around the product, because those are standardized. Those are created by the insurance carriers, and we don't really have any flexibility there. But where we do have flexibility is with our services, and around actually getting people to book appointments with us. And so I'm going to walk you through an offer that I actually wrote for a Medicare webinar that I think will really demonstrate all of the things that you could be doing that most people typically aren't, in order to separate themselves from all the other hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of insurance agents out there, in order to catch the attention of the people that we want to be working with. Okay, so when it comes to actually creating what Alex calls a grand slam offer, and he goes through the quote by Jeff Bezos, which I'm actually just going to read it to you because it's extremely powerful. Outsized returns often come from betting against conventional wisdom, and conventional wisdom is usually right. So given a 10% chance of a 100 times payoff, you should take that bet every time. You're still going to be wrong 9 times out of 10. We all know that if you swing for the fences, you're going to strike out a lot, but you're also going to hit some home runs. The difference between baseball and business, however, is that baseball has a truncated outcome distribution. When you swing, no matter how well you connect with the ball, the most runs that you can get is 4. But in business, every once in a while, when you step up to the plate, you can score 1,000 runs. This is long tail distribution of returns, and it's why it's important to be bold. Big winners pay for so many experiments. So that's like really what he is referring to when it comes to, he calls it a grand slam offer, because when you're trying new things, business is so amazing because when you knock it out of the park, you really can knock it out of the park. There's no limit to what you can do. So be bold and try new things. And when it comes to making an offer, so an offer is really packaging, the way you package and present your solution or services, right? For insurance, it's going to be services to your customer. So a lot of people, when it comes to packaging their offer, typically all they're doing is just like schedule an appointment with me. Maybe we'll see, what some quotes are, what some rates are. I might tell you that you're in the best place right now, and that's really the extent of it. That's not a great offer. The offer is just schedule an appointment with me and I'll give you some of my time. There's not really much there. And you can't really do too much with the actual product as far as changing the offer. And so really Alex's process is go through all of the problems that somebody's going to experience as soon as they start your offer, right? So if you are offering, for example, Medicare typically has to do with people that are turning 65, they're coming into retirement. And one of the big things that has to do with Medicare is it's protecting people against financial hardships from medical issues. And a lot of that has to do with protecting their nest egg for retirement. So the natural next problem or next several problems is going to be also, okay, you're helping me with Medicare. What do I do with Social Security? What do I actually do with my money? How do I properly draw my money? There's so many other things that come about with that. Now, also, if you're helping somebody, with a whole life insurance policy, trying to teach them the infinite banking system, maybe you're going to teach them how to use that alongside real estate. One of the next problems people have is taxes. So we really need to think about and go through and list out all of the other problems that are going to be related and see how or what we can solve either through our self-helping with it or being able to bring in somebody else as a partner that's going to help them with those things. So I think that like the best way I can just go through this is, one, I recommend you read the book. But two is just to go through the offer that I actually wrote. That's going to sound probably 1,000 times different than anything you've ever heard from an insurance agent. But realize that like adding all this extra stuff, it's going to take some, you're sacrificing your time to help people more, but it's going to make you stand out massively from all of your other competition. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and go through and read this so you guys can really get a good example. All right, so this is for a webinar for Medicare. And so towards the end of the entire webinar, I'm coming to the point where I want to make my offer, which is my offer is to book an appointment with me. But there's so much more that I've packaged around this. Okay, so what we've created for you is this really cool thing called our Medicare Guide package. That's another thing you can do is put a name around it. In copywriting, that's called a mechanism. It's your intellectual property that you're putting around this package. So giving something a name is something that creates curiosity and it really gets people being like, oh, I want that. And it also separates you from every other agent. So again, positioning is very important in what we're going through here today. So I gave it a name called the Medicare Guide package. As if they have they're going on a hike, they're going to go climb Mount Everest and they have a guide going with them, right? So, all right, I'm going to go back to reading this. So what we've created for you all is this really cool thing called a Medicare Guide package. And we made this package specifically for you all that have attended today. What we put together for you on this webinar is our special Medicare Guide package. When you schedule your appointment with us today, this is what you're going to get. First, you're going to get a personalized, tailored session with me or my highly trained team completely for free. Now, you're going to have a meeting with anybody that you use to go through Medicare, a meeting, a phone call, some sort of interaction. So the meeting itself is not unique. But what we provide on this meeting with you is unique. Now, what this meeting is not. This is not somebody reading from a script trying to sell you a product. This is not a meeting with a captive company that has to sell only their company's products. This is not a cold call from a stranger that you're never going to hear from again. This is a meeting with a professionally trained Medicare specialist. We're going to ask you questions to understand what you want, and we're going to walk you through this journey to help you choose the best coverage for you. Then once we have that understanding, we will find the company with the best price for you. That's the very first thing I said. And I have a lot more, but understand how I am separating myself from every other potential person out there. In their mind, yeah, I'm going to get a meeting with everybody, but I'm now displaying the value and telling them what's not going to happen, which is actually what typically happens with every other meeting they get. So it separates and gives the actual meeting value. You're also going to get a completely free Medicare seminar that walks you through everything that you need to know about Medicare. How to sign up, what are the two paths, when to choose those paths, what best way to enroll, and you're actually receiving that right now. This is the web class, and people out there actually charge to teach this information upwards of $80 per class to learn what we've gone through and gone over today completely for free. And actually, when I go through this section in my webinar, I literally go and show screenshots that I found of people charging to teach this similar information. So now they're putting a value to the thing that they're getting, and I've already framed it as like, you've already gotten this, which brings out another perspective of persuasion called reciprocity, where if you give somebody, they have the natural tendency to want to give back so that they don't feel like there's uneven distribution. They want to feel even with people. So if you give them something for free, and I've already framed this as I've given this to them for free, there's going to be reciprocity that they want to give back. Now, in addition to getting this all for free and not having to pay to learn this info, it's vitally important to making the right decision. We've also gone ahead and made what we've talked about today into a cheat sheet so you can always remember what we talked about and refer back to that. Because, I know it's hard to remember everything we covered. So when you book your appointment with us, we're going to give you this free Medicare cheat sheet as well. So as simple as that, I took what's already in the webinar and I'm just making it into a very simple PDF that's gonna just be something I can give them so that they can refer back to. So the other thing about what Alex teaches in this book is think of all the ways that you can deliver the services that you're talking about. So I'm already delivering it in multiple ways. I'm delivering it in video, but I'm also gonna deliver it in a PDF that they can get for free. And then they're also gonna get an actual meeting with me. So those are three different ways that they're getting delivery on this offer. The next thing that you're going to get when you schedule an appointment with us is our Part D drug plan quick learn blueprint. That's kind of a mouthful, but also notice I gave this a mechanism. I gave it a name. Okay, so Part D is your drug plan, and it can be different for everybody based on the medications that you take. So we put together a quick additional video on that, which makes it very easy to understand. And with this, you're going to get our medication and drug concierge service. So again, I named something here. So what does that mean? Because everybody is different, we want to make sure that any prescriptions that you take are going to be covered when enrolling on a Medicare. So our Medicare specialist is going to go over any and all prescriptions and medicines that you are taking. We're going to plug that into our system and make sure that we find you a drug plan that covers those medications. Now, we know that you don't want to switch your medications or have to come out of pocket for any of them when you enroll on a Medicare. We take great detail to make sure that those are all taken care of. Now, here's a really important part, right? A lot of Medicare agents do that, but they're not expressing that to the people to get them to book an appointment with them. And so part of the offer is something that you may already be doing above and beyond what other agents are already doing. And now we just need to figure out a way to package that in a way that provides value for the person in order to get them to do what you want, which is typically book an appointment. Finally, we know that Medicare is just the beginning of retirement, so we put together a free retirement guide that you're also going to get completely for free when you schedule an appointment with us. In this retirement guide, we're going to go over all the things that come with retirement, such as Social Security, when's the best time to take that, or should you defer it? Should you take yours or potentially look at a spousal benefit? If you have a pension, how to maximize that pension, how to allocate your IRA or 401k payment distributions, how to avoid market volatility, and even ways to turn your retirement accounts into guaranteed income for life. It's okay if this doesn't make sense right now. Our retirement guide spells this out very simply, and you get this completely complimentary just for booking a call with us. So a couple things I'm doing here. I know my customer very, very well. I know about Social Security. I know what spousal benefits are. I've spent a lot of time with this, and I know that they go through that and hear that as well too. So one, I'm demonstrating that I know what I'm talking about. I'm future pacing that I am very coherent and very understanding of retirement as well. So they're not going to look at me as the expert of that. And I'm also trying to confuse them a little bit so they feel overwhelmed and want to come to me with help. Because really what that is called in the sales process is doubt. And in order for anybody to take action on anything, there's 7 things that they need. And one of those 7 things is doubt. And so I want to use this to create a little bit of doubt in them, to have them feel that they want my help and want my services. But also at the same time, it just demonstrates that I know what I'm talking about. Next, so again, this is the 6th thing that they're getting just for booking an appointment with me. They go book an appointment with anybody else, they're not getting shit. So this is exactly what I'm talking about, is articulate some of the things that you already naturally do above and beyond what other agents are doing, and put it into a package that is really an offer for them. Along with this free retirement guide, when you join our family, you're also going to have access to our partners that set up wills and trusts for you for a fraction of the price that an estate lawyer would cost. Look at this stuff. The stuff that you get for free from working with us. If you were to go out and actually pay for this stuff, you got to go to Medicare classes, you need a financial advisor or retirement or social security specialist and an estate lawyer or a will and trust specialist. And then I actually have slides that show what these things cost, again, to further create proof in my webinar and also really cement the pain from this stuff. $80 for the Medicare classes. Financial advisors cost thousands of dollars in fees. Retirement classes on Social Security, pension, 401k, IRA maximization. And those classes go for $200 to $500. All these things would cost $1,500 to several thousands of dollars, and we give them literally for free just for booking an appointment with us. Now at this point, so I want to go back. So some of these things, you're probably thinking, well, I don't have that. Make it, right? Like I literally went through and I made all this stuff. I made the PDF. I made the retirement guide. I made the cheat sheet. I make it myself. Do not shortcut this and give them some cheap crap because it's going to come back on you and it's not going to work. It needs to be actually good. Spend some time making assets that you can use in your business that's actually going to be valuable to the people you're talking with. Okay, another important point right here that I just got done. I just got done going over what the costs are, and I said, we're giving this to you completely for free. At this point, people can kind of get to the point where it's like, what's the catch? It's too good to be true. So I need to now come back and reel them in. And we do this because we know that these are all very necessary pieces to the retirement puzzle. And we really don't want you to be kind of left out there to the cold. The last thing that you're going to get when you book an appointment with us, if you decide to become a client, you get lifetime support from our team of Medicare specialists. No, I can't speak for other companies, but we know that you will have questions over the span of your lifetime of being on Medicare. You may wonder, is something covered? If I travel to a certain place, will there be somewhere easy that I can go and I know that my coverage is going to be accepted? You may have an issue with a new prescription or a new doctor, whatever it may be. When this comes up, we don't want to leave you on your own to call the company. You decided to trust us, so with that comes us helping you with any of these issues. So anytime anything comes up, you just call into our office and we're going to go through hell or high water to get you the answer or get the problem solved for you. That is the difference that you get when you decide to trust us with your health coverage. A couple things here. One, some of you may be like, oh, well, I already do that. Okay, cool. Figure out a way to display it to these people. That seems valuable. Two, others may be like, okay, that seems like a lot of work. Yes, in order to create a really good offer, you have to go above and beyond and do extra work. That's what separates you from other people. And then I go into here. Look, as we've mentioned already, we know that you can take this info that you learned today. You can call your nephew Jimmy that does insurance or work with your home and auto agent. Even just call directly to one of the companies and have them assist you. We know that's a possibility, but we are certain that we will deliver a better service to you than any other option. And that is why we have included all of these other bonuses that you're not going to get anywhere else. And we want to show you how grateful we are that you decided to put your trust in us. And in return, we're going to give you all of these free resources. And we're going to continue to create new things that we know will help our clients. And then, another aspect of a great offer is scarcity and basically creating some sort of urgency to get them to actually move. So I do put a little bit of that in here as well too. But for the most part, that's really what my offer is. I'll read this last part for you as well too. So I tell them, look below, there should be a green button so you can automatically book your session. And I advise that you do that right now because there's, like I said, hundreds of people on this presentation and the calendar space does run out very quickly. And we can only help so many people. There should be about 40 slots available and those will go very quickly. We can only help so many people at a time. And so your peers are going there right now and clicking that and reserving their time slot. So make sure that you click on that right now as you listen to this next piece of information. That way you get your time slot reserved. We're looking forward to helping you. I can't wait, et cetera, et cetera. Now, the important piece of this too is that you don't want to just make up and lie about scarcity or that there's a limited amount of slots. So all of this is true. When we deliver this webinar, it would be live. So I wouldn't say this stuff if it was recorded. And I wouldn't say this stuff if there was more than 40. You want to be true with it. Otherwise, again, if people can sniff out that you're lying, it's going to actually hurt you. So yeah, I really hope you guys got a ton of value out of that. I hope that any of you guys that have been seeing Alex and a ton of his amazing content, this really helps to show you how you can incorporate it into your insurance business. This is just one specifically for Medicare. There's so many other things that you could do. You know, if you're teaching infinite banking, you could include an entire course showing them how to use their policy after they become a client. Just start getting creative of like any extra things that you can provide that are assets that are really going to benefit your customers, especially like once they become clients. There's so many different ways to do it. Just really start getting creative. So again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please hit the like button. If you guys have any questions, please drop them in the comments below. And as always, please hit the subscribe button. It really helps us to continue to make content for you guys. Thank you so much, and I will see you guys on the next one.